everything trades here on the Mile High Hoops podcast, where, well, in Denver, we're one of the 4 cities that did not make any moves at the deadline. That's right. The Denver Nuggets are sticking with the team that they had. And it's a pretty good team. They're one of the best teams in the West. So although there's a lot of disappointment because I think everyone wants the shiny new object, the Nuggets were pretty limited on the trades they maybe could have made because they didn't have any second-round picks. They only had 1 first-round pick they could trade. 2 of their 4 giant contract players were untradeable, and the other one is Nikola Jokic. So Michael Porter Jr., well, he had a career high last night. We're not trading him. And then there's a guy in the mid-tier, Zeke Naji, who's got a bad contract. So it was really limited options for the Denver Nuggets, and the options turned out to be, well, nothing. They had a little sniff at Terrence Mann, what we know. They had a little sniff at Jonas Valanciunas, and both guys make sense. And, maybe one changes the outcome a little bit of the season. I don't think either would have had a significant impact on the Nuggets, but they're rolling with the team they had, and they don't even cut salary to get under the first apron, which would have allowed them to get some higher candidate players on the buyout market when that comes about in the next month or so. So if the Denver Nuggets do attack the buyout market and add a player that's a veteran who's been cut by another team, they're going to have to cut a player themselves, like a Jalen Pickett or a Hunter Tyson, and add a guy who is making like $11 million or less. So it's not going to be that great of a player because obviously that team is cutting them and they weren't making that much to begin with. So the Denver Nuggets, as what their playoff rotation is going to be, it's probably something that is already here in Denver. And as negative as it sounds, because I think we all know the Nuggets clearly aren't as good as the Thunder this year, and maybe are a step below even the Knicks, Cavs, and Celtics, I think this should be a positive because those who want change, this is a sign that you're actually going to get it. Calvin Booth is out of contract at the end of this season. You cannot take away the only first-round pick you can trade for the next year and a half for your incoming GM who wants to make changes themselves. You can't do it. So those who believe that the Nuggets need to make a big shakeup, it's easier to do it in the offseason. It's easier to do with a new man here. And look at Calvin Booth's first moves, right? They netted you KCP and Bruce Brown. So maybe a new GM with a fresh perspective is what you need to kind of break this logjam of we're doing things for flexibility, but we have no flexibility. And it's all funny because it's happening on the night KCP is here in Denver, the guy you let go under the guise of flexibility, and you have none. So those who want long-term significant changes to the Nuggets, them not making any minor changes today might be a good sign for you. And it might perturb you because of the fact that you're punting basically in a way on a year in Nikola Jokic's prime, maybe the best year he's ever had. But this is about extending his window, as the Nuggets have talked about over and over again. And you still have a pretty good shot at things this year, as I calculate they're probably the second best team in the West. So what now for the Denver Nuggets? How do they get better? Well, I don't think they're going to attack the buyout market and get anything on the buyout market that's going to make them significantly better. They don't have a single guy on their roster who can play defense and shoot threes. That's a problem. They need to continue to get better at shooting more threes. Last night, they shot a season high 43 threes, which is below the game-by-game average of the Boston Celtics on the year of 48.5. Crazy. Need to attack the defensive rebounding a little bit better. I think they've gelled well. I think Julian Strother continues to make strides. Unfortunately, Peyton Watson's gone for this month. Christian Brown has had a great year, pretty much. Big fan of what he's done. So you still have some good pieces. And, Jamal Murray, I think, has developed some nice chemistry with Russell Westbrook. Aaron Gordon plays a lot of that role last night with Russ out. Russ is fighting through an injury, and it doesn't seem to be that significant, but there is no timeline on his return. So what I'm looking for the Denver Nuggets is them to keep just getting better internally. And there's ways to do that, as I've kind of spelled out. There's new strategies they can approach themselves with, right? But ultimately, I think it is a little disappointing that they didn't go out and get at least a body they could use, because right now they're down in bodies to Jalen Pickett, Hunter Tyson, and Zeke Naji. 3 guys that at the start of the year we would say are unplayable. They're playing, and they're playing quite a lot. And this is the stretch of the season that if you needed these guys to play, they would play. You only have one game against the top 4 seed in either side of the conference this month, and that's against the Pacers. You got the All-Star break this month. You got only 12 games. It's a light month. So this is the time for them to experiment with some different things. I don't know what they're actually going to find. Maybe they luck their way into Zeke Naji recapturing what he was 3 years ago when it looked like that contract might actually be good, right? But I ultimately think that wherever this team goes is going to be reliant on how good Michael Porter and Jamal Murray can be. And yeah, it stinks that we're looking at it today and they still don't have a guy that can really play perimeter defense. But I think the Nuggets are in a world where they can simply outscore and outpace and outmaneuver and strategize a team in a playoff series. They can, because of Nikola Jokic, because of the shooting capabilities of Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., if they are clicking. If Jamal Murray looks like the guy he did in the month of January with the guy we saw Michael Porter Jr. be over the last couple games, they can win a championship. They really can. Heck, even if they're not that good, there's only one team in the West that really scares me, and it's the Thunder. And if you look at the Thunder's matchups for their first round series, they got a lot tougher over the trade deadline. The Warriors might make a lot more noise than they were going to be previously. They were going to be out like in like a, something like that. Looks a lot better for the Warriors. So I wouldn't give the Denver Nuggets a passing grade. I think every opportunity they've had to improve themselves, whether it's a trade deadline, an NBA draft, or an offseason in general, since the KCP and Bruce Brown move, you can make a case that all of those things have been a negative. I think they hit on the Julian Strawther pick. That's a positive, no doubt about it. They've made some other moves that are beneficial that no one talks about. The Nuggets, well, one of the top 10 players in franchise history is Jamal Murray. They got him into a contract extension. Nuggets history, that guy doesn't sign to a long-term extension. Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon signed contract extensions over this period as well. These are positive things, real positive things. And I know people right now are upset with some of those extensions, but these are positive things. They got Jokic to sign a supermax in this period. They've done the hard stuff. They're doing the big stuff right. It's the small stuff that separates a good team to a great team or a great team to a championship level team that they're screwing up with. And what thing will get lost in all of this is that the CBA changed in the middle of the Nuggets title window and that Jamal Murray missed 2 playoff runs in the Nuggets title window. And I think no one's going to be sitting here going, it's okay that the Nuggets only won 1 title with Jokic. I think we'll all be a little disappointed in the end. Although, if you asked me before, I never thought the Nuggets were going to win a title ever or have a player as great as Jokic. So at this point, you get a little greedy. So it is annoying to sit here and say, yeah, they're not in that top tier. They're trying to recapture some of the magic next year and maybe the year after. But Luka Doncic is a free agent in a year and a half, and he already said he's not sold on signing the contract extension. And we all know he's best friends with Nikola Jokic. Just putting it out there. Maybe one day that possibility opened up within the last week. And I never thought it was possible before. And I've said time and time again, that if the Nuggets really want to extend Jokic's championship window into his mid to late 30s, they need to do what LeBron was searching for, which was find a player better than what I am at this point in my career. That is a way the Nuggets can do it. I never thought the Nuggets would have a player as good as Nikola Jokic, so finding a player that's better than a declining Nikola Jokic is going to be nearly impossible, but the door is open for one, and because of Nikola Jokic's greatness, it is open. So keep that in mind, that there is some reason for hope long term. And when you have Michael Porter Jr. playing as well as he has played, maybe the second star and the all-star that Nikola Jokic has never had, maybe he's here. And, it's weird to say about a guy in his 7th NBA season or 6th NBA season, whatever Porter's in, taking a step up, because normally you know who you are at this point in your career. But I think Porter continues to get better in a meaningful way. Since the finals team, he got better the next year. He got better this year. He is literally twice as good of a passer as he was 2 years ago. He's a capable defender now. He's a really good rebounder. And he is one of the best rim finishers in the NBA this season and really good at offensive rebounding as well. So I'm not panicking about the long-term championship window with the Nuggets. I think they were probably justified and smart in not making a move today, especially if it cost you a first-round pick just to move off Zeke Naji for Chris Boucher, who you might not even play in the playoffs. It's just a little disappointing because you want the new shiny toy, which you did not get. Anyway, we will talk to you Tuesday. This is the Mile High Hoops podcast with Jake Shapiro. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our content on Denver Sports on YouTube.